Good morning, everyone. I'm waiting on Selena. So let's see if she joins me pretty quickly. I hope so. Where are you, Selena? Are you on? Hello, Selena. Are you there? Aditi is on. Oh, and there is Selena. Woo! It worked! Yes!
Good
We made it!
morning!
Woo! Good morning!
Yay! Too much excitement! Welcome, everybody!
Welcome, welcome. So, my name is Yvonne, and with me is Miss Selena, and we have coffee as it's really early here in Europe where we are. And Selena, what are we talking about today?
I have no clue other
You
than
have no clue.
entities.
Yeah,
I
something
would
about
just,
entities. True.
yeah. To me, it's like, okay, how has your night been? I mean, could you sleep?
I slept a few hours, and I was maybe smart. I put on the demon call that Carrie and Dane did on New Year's Eve. I had
Okay,
this on a
cool.
loop the whole night, so that might have helped. And
What
I
did
woke
you
up with a
know?
headache, so what did I know? Yeah.
What did you know that I didn't want to know?
Yeah,
Uh, yeah.
really.
Well, to me it was like a very hot night, and when I say a hot
Mm.
night, it wasn't what you would be imagining. It was no hanky panky involved. It was
Mm.
only waking up every 30 minutes, having like flashes of heat, and I would just know something's going on into the talk to the entities. So my question to you would be, have you noticed anything since we started the series? And by the way, guys, you rocked it. I'm like,
Totally. It's
wow.
been so amazing. Just
Yay!
bringing this entity awareness out into the world 24 hours live, it's so freaking awesome. I really have to say I think it was needed. Yeah,
And
it's what
me
we were
too.
all asking for. Yeah.
And I don't know about you, yeah, but today I kind of, I'm not as blonde as yesterday. And when I say this, is that,
Tell
looking
me
and
more.
watching, because I was really binging. I was, like, talk to the entities, binging for hours, like absorbing everything in. It was like, wow, this thing, I didn't see it like that, or I didn't want to look at it, or wow, what an awareness. So what are you aware of?
Yeah, what are we all aware of? What I like with this series is, I mean, we talk to the entities facilitators. We're kind of using the same tools, and everyone has a kind of different understanding of the tools and different ways to explain it, which I love. So when
Me too.
you listen and watch all these videos that we did over the last 24 hours, it really gives you a totally different perspective on the tools.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know about you, but I will ask you, how have you decided, or how have you chosen to become a talk to the entities facilitator? And then I'll tell you something. And then I'll give you an anecdote of yesterday, which is like real life using the tools in the family, because to me it seems like I can use the tools outside the family. And when it comes to the family, then there's something else. But, okay,
Mm.
so what
How did
made you
I choose
choose?
it? I'm not even sure I chose. I think it chose me. I started working with Shannon and Talk to the Entities team about 2 hours, no, not 2 hours, 2 years ago. So it became quite natural just to walk down this path. So it probably chose me. And when I started, I really was like, nah, I'm me, entity connection there. So it's really funny. Now
Absolutely
they're
not.
part of
And
everyday life.
yeah. Well, to me, it was like, Out of all the classes that I did in Access, for those who don't know us, we are both certified facilitators and Talk to the Entities facilitators. I remember last year in August that there was this class of Kalpana who opened the series. And the only thing I knew, it was that I needed to be there. And I didn't know what it would bring up, how it would show up. All I knew is that I needed to be there. I was scared, like, but then again, with the tools of access consciousness, as of talking to the entities, it was like, was I really scared, or was I about to discover something that I've known for such a long time, but I chose not to be aware of. So
yeah,
and
this
today
is
it's
what many people do,
and
I think.
and today, and with the series, I realized that actually entities have been around me ever since. I mean, since I was born, not only ever since, but ever since I just kind of acknowledged it. So the moment when you acknowledge something, it opens up the door to have it even more present in
Yes.
your life. My question would be, are you willing to acknowledge the capacities that you have with entities, even if you think or you say you don't have them?
Yeah, and also look back over the course of your life and maybe see when you closed the door to entities. I mean, as children, we're all aware of them, as small children. And then there probably comes a point where someone says, no, this isn't real. And then you close the door to it. And then opening up this door can be quite intense and really gifting. Yeah, it's been for me.
I'm just curious. I heard so many facilitators talking about how entities communicate to them. How do they communicate to you?
This is a good question. I see we have a question about this in the chat as well from Vasuda. Hello, darling. I'm not sure how they communicate. I'm just aware that they're around, and I also tend to not make them really significant. I was pondering this yesterday when I was walking down the streets, like, yeah, if I would make some normal people like as significant as I could with the entities, I would walk around the street and say hi to everyone, which I don't. But with the entities, some people are like expecting us to say hi to everyone that we perceive, and I don't. If they come up to me and say, hey, you want to chat? Then yeah, let's chat. And if they don't, then I'm just let them be.
Wow. So do you mean you're not actually interacting with that you're perceiving?
No, I would be doing nothing else probably if I would.
I'm just asking. To me, like when I'm allowing myself to be aware of the entities, and this is an exercise and this is a muscle that I'm training each and every day. And it starts with me lowering my barriers. Most of the times it's like, okay, the most recognizable thing to me is like I would look at somebody and I would say something that doesn't make sense with my logic. It's just that I get this piece of information, and then I have it. I don't know where it comes from. I don't know how it landed there, but I have it. And for a long time, I've been judging myself for being a superior bitch, for knowing this or wanting to say this to people. But then I asked the question, truth, is this entity awareness? Is this something that, and I got a yes, and I got, and then I said, okay, cool. So what am I refusing there? And how much more I could be creating with this if I didn't have a point of view, if I didn't have an expectation of how communicating with entities should be, or what it should look like, and what
and also the communication with them is more like a knowing. You just know all of a sudden, and this is probably so quick. So when I go and try to communicate like I would with a person with a body, it's too slow. I already have all the information, and then I can't perceive anything, and then I go into the wrongness, like I can't talk to entities where they have given me all the information already.
Yeah.
And this might be where some people out there also struggle and think, oh, I can't communicate with them. What if you already have gotten all the information just by saying hi? And then it's done.
Wow. What if you got all the information just by saying hi?
Yeah.
Can I share something that happened last night?
Sure.
I mean, my kids were out there for doing the trick and treat, you know. And the second one, number two, as I call him, he's 11 years old, and he's, you know, my special guy, the one who's just not challenging. Yeah, he's challenging me. He's showing me there where I don't want to look. And so everybody was yesterday with the 24 hours of entities, and there was really a lot of activity in our house, and not, you know, how to say, something that I would have wanted for me. And at some point, number two lies on the bed and said, I have a headache. I'm like, oh, cool. So can I ask you a question? No. Okay, then no. 5 minutes later, I have a headache. Can I ask you a question? Yes. Truth. How many entities are you aware of? And he started to smile like, so I don't need a number. It's just, will you please acknowledge that? And look at me, that doesn't make sense. I said, it doesn't. But are you willing to acknowledge this? And then, would you please ask them to be kind to you and to your body? Because right now they are all like, ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
And actually, we did an exercise. We asked together the entities, and he did it as well. And this was the wow. Like, can
Maybe
I
tell us the
have...
exercise. There are
So
probably
actually,
people out there that are perceiving entities right now and find it
yeah.
uncomfortable. Yeah.
Well, to me, yesterday, the priority was that he was feeling comfortable so that he can get out with the kids. So I asked him, would you please lower the barriers? And how do you do that? You just ask to lower the barriers. And then just take a deep breath, be present. Yeah. And if it gets too intense and too uncomfortable, just for now, ask all the entities that are around you to give you some more space until you are comfortable enough and they can be around you and they still get acknowledged for being there, still being acknowledged for their presence. And you don't have to freak out because you feel like you don't have space to breathe. So guess what? He went out to do trick and treat, and it's for the first year in years that he didn't come back home with those hysterical thoughts of all those masks and all those. And for this, even if it's only this, my whole gratitude for all the tools of Talk to the Entities.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how does it get better?
Yeah, how does it get any better? If you ever think that kids don't know what to do with this information, it might be right, depending on your point of view, but they know. They know. Wow. So my question would be, what do you know? What do you know about entities? What do you know about communication with entities? It shows up differently for everybody. Are you willing to acknowledge that? And are you just willing to ask a question? Truth, is this an entity? And we covered so many topics during these 24 hours. I mean, like, whoa. We were talking about how to clear the entities, how to communicate with entities, how to receive from them, about ancestors, about fear, about...
Yeah, just right before us, Adriana and Helga were talking about addiction and mental disorders with entities. So it's a very interesting topic. Yeah.
And to me, it all starts with a question. Are you willing to be aware? Are you willing to acknowledge? And are you willing to be as intense as it takes to then, you know, open up to more possibilities with the entity world? I don't know where you grew up, Yvonne, but to me it was like on the day of the death, that's the 1st of November, we go to the cemetery, and I was terrified with what would happen there, because I didn't have the information as a kid. I would So there was this scene. Everybody was trying to lit up a candle in the cemetery, and I could perceive entities playing with me, playing with everybody. They would not allow people to put up candles. And I was telling my parents, I was like 4 or 5. We were going to the cemetery, to offerings and so. And I was like, just shut up. This is nonsense. This is just the wind. This is just this. This is just that. And after facilitating a class last week, I went again to the cemetery, and I actually had the awareness of how many points of view are projected in cemeteries of people who stay after those who choose to go.
Yeah.
I was.
Yeah. You're always often thinking that the entities chose to stay, and how many of the living are still holding them here, not allowing them to go because, I need you so much.
Wow.
And is this a kindness to the person who chose to leave the body and actually want to move on? Maybe.
When you're holding on to somebody and you're giving all your power to the person who's not even there.
Yeah, and not only holding on to them while at the same time denying that they exist. This is the most funny part about it.
Ooh.
It's just when we die, it's over, and at the same time, you can't let this person go. This is really weird.
Yeah. Well,
so
do you have a funny story about entities? Tell me a funny story about entities.
A funny story about it.
Give me a coffee story.
I'm not sure I have one. Funny story about entities. I'm not sure. I enjoy being on cemeteries, like you freaking out. I don't do it. I probably just perceive all the projections there, like, this person died and now I have to sit here and go to the cemetery all day. I actually live right more or less next door to a cemetery where some very famous Norwegians are buried as well, like Ibsen and Munch and all these guys. They're up there, yeah, right next to my house. So, and actually in the summer, I love sitting there reading books when it's great weather. It's lovelier than being in the parks where there's lots of people that are drinking and being noisy. At least there it's quiet. No one disturbs you.
You know what I remember? We were having a call at some time, a preparation. We were preparing a call. And at some point, you're saying, I have 5 guys staying in my living room.
Yes.
I was like, what are they doing there? I said, I don't know. You don't want to talk to them?
No, I don't have to. Yeah, there are people living here with me. I mean, how do you talk to your family all day long? Just because they're in the same house. See? The same with this. That's what I do with the entities. I know that they're there. If I want to talk to them, I can. And I don't have to all the time.
And the nicest part was, to me, the nicest part was when I asked you, what do they want? And you're saying, I don't know. And then you asked, and what did they want?
Some of them wanted to watch TV. So they were waiting for me to put the TV on. Yeah.
How fun is that? Can you imagine if everything was so easy?
Exactly. And this is also a nice thing to be aware of if you all of a sudden get urges like, now I want to watch TV, although you actually, or you find yourself peering into the fridge all the time, although you're not hungry. You might actually ask, who am I eating for? As these guys that are in your house actually might be hungry and want to eat, and then they can't because they don't have a body. So they make you eat for them.
But this is no excuse for you to just give the power away. Who's the main entity in your life?
And it's a choice. If you want to eat for them, and then do it if it's kind to you. And if it's not, then don't do it. Then tell them, sorry, can't do it.
But there's a very funny thing. Yesterday, while watching, at some point there was in Max's live when he asked, "Okay, what do you perceive?" I mean, like you know, and all of a sudden I was grabbing a pack of candies, and I was crunching and munching, and I was like, "What is this?
To?
Who does that belong to? What is this?" So I really am really totally thankful for this series, for the tools of Talk to the Entities, for what Shannon has brought into the world. By the way, I didn't watch her live, but I'm so looking forward to watch it when we end the series. And to you for willing to me and for having a coffee at 6:30 in the morning. Go the Entities. I lost my wings, my bat wings.
Oh, you lost your wings. That sounds like a sad fairy. I lost my wings.
My bat fairies.
Your bat wings. Yeah. What else? We still have 5 minutes.
We have 5 minutes. Yes, we have 5 minutes. Because I wanted to ask you a question. What if in all the tools of Talk to the Entities, which one is the one that stays with you and sticks with you?
I think the one that helped me the most is really just knowing that they want to talk and be there, and just saying hi, like you would with a normal person. If someone knocks at your door, you open the door and you say, "Hi, what do you want?" And you do the same with the entities. Instead of freaking out, there is an entity and what does it want, and trying to be all frantic and panicky, or make them even bigger than you. This is also one of the things that I loved when I first learned about these tools, that no one is greater than you.
Wow.
And they don't know more than us. That also. Yeah.
Doesn't mean that when you died, you suddenly get enlightened.
Or conscious.
And or conscious. That's another thing.
Yeah.
To me,
I've met people that really, they talk to their ancestors or other entities and just, "You know more than me, tell me what I should choose." It's not a good idea. Not your best choice, probably.
It's a choice. What would that create? What would Bat create?
What would Bat create?
You know, when I heard Shannon for the first time doing the clearing, like really doing the entity clearing, maybe we are going to do that just because it's morning, just as, you know, and there's a lot of activity around.
It is.
The way she did it, you know, like really like a conversation. So should we do that? Should we do that just to end in, you know, like start the day with a fresh, new, clean page?
Clean house.
With entity awareness?
Yes.
Okay. Who's starting?
You can start.
Okay. Entities. Truth. Who are you?
And truth.
Who were you before that?
Who were you before that? And who were you before that? And who were you before that? And who were you even before that? And who will you be in the future?
Ooh. And truth, what are you?
And truth, what were you before that? And 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 what will you be in the future?
And truth, what is your job?
And truth, what was your job before that? And what was your job before that? And what was your job before that? And what was your job even before that? And what will your job be in the future?
Thank you
Lovely beings.
so very much.
Lovely beings, you may all leave if you choose to. Take all your magnetic imprintings with you and all your luggage, and have a fun day.
Yay! Right, wrong, good, bad, both, POC, all nine shorts, boys and beyonds. How beautiful is this?
Yes, exactly. And how easy is this? How much ease is it?
And how much fun can you have with the entities?
Yes.
Woo! And on this, I would say
We had fun with our 30 minutes of fame.
cheers.
And cheers with the coffee. Have an awesome day, all of you out there.
Have an absolutely phenomenal day and enjoy Entities activity.
And we'll see you very soon. Goodbye.
Bye.